So, Lenora, tell us a little bit about your childhood. We would love to know how you came out from a KL girl to a world stage representing the country and winning third place at the World's Bodybuilding Championship. So, tell us a little bit on your childhood and your growing years. What is your background, Lenora?
My background is actually just a person who wants to enjoy life. So when I was younger, I've always wanted to be some sort of athlete when I was younger, but never really got the chance to. I grew up where I enjoyed a lot of time with eating and just basically enjoyed everything. That was my childhood, enjoying life, having fun, and I was a huge fan of the entertainment scene. I always wanted to get into entertainment. That means most of it was actually through mostly acting. I wanted to do that as a kid, and you know lah, most of the time they say like acting tak boleh cari makan lah. You cannot make it. It's going to be a very hard thing to do in Malaysia, which I can say for anyone who is in the entertainment scene is a very difficult thing of where you have to build yourself. You're going to know the right people. So childhood was a lot of watching stuff on in movies and in TV shows. So you can say I was very impressionable, and that kind of came into how I am today, where I'm such an extrovert. I just loved being with people, and I love taking the energy from people.
So you've been a so you have been an active and an acting child since day one. You always involve yourself in acting and basically in school, in church, and all that. Have you always been the influencer kind of personality throughout?
I won't say influencer, but I'll say I was very into getting my hands into anything that had to do with drama or theater.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, I was already doing like storytelling. I was already doing readings in kindergarten, and then in school, I also took part in public speaking. And then I was also very into like I said, I was so into drama that I did a lot of plays in school, and I also did some of it at church, and but sports was always never a thing that I did because I never felt like I could do it. In fact, part of my childhood, because I was so unfit. Here's a story that I don't think many people would know. When I was younger, right, Lim, I actually went to Frim, and it was a school trip. And this school trip, we went up on this hill, and as we were going higher and higher, I couldn't catch my breath at all. This was when I was in primary school.
Okay.
And not being able to catch my breath. You know, when you have never done any kind of physical activity before. So I was a very unfit child. And going up that hill in Frim, suddenly I just couldn't breathe. And because I couldn't breathe, I panicked and then I started crying. And I was the last person in the entire class. And I was the only one that was going through this whole thing. It was very embarrassing, I have to say. And because of me, everyone had to turn back and go back down because poor Linora, she couldn't seem to keep up. So that was already a point when I was like, no, I think I gotta make a change for myself because I found like in my teenage years, in my teenage mind, because of me, everyone had to turn back. They couldn't enjoy the rest of the trail. So I suppose that was one of the starting phases of when I was like, no, I want to try and get better. I want to improve in some way with my health. That time I didn't know what it was. I just said I wanted to not be like that. I wouldn't want to go up a hill and not be able to breathe. And so then it was also a case of where, because when you grow up, you read a lot of magazines, you see all these things. And back in the day, it was like, oh, you got to be skinny, you got to be slim. And then you would find people would appreciate you better. That was the look back in the day. I think now it's very different, and I'm very happy with it, how people are viewing body shapes and physiques differently. So growing up, I was a chubby kid that always had body image issues, which is something that I do talk about. Body dysmorphia. It's a serious topic because everyone goes through it. Everyone at some point in their life has gone through a phase where they're not happy with how they look, and that's something which I hope we can all speak about openly, because everybody should know how to appreciate their own body, because it's the only one that you have on planet Earth. So coming back then, a lot of visuals of where I would see things and go like, okay, if I cannot be as slim as all my friends, because I was the bigger child, I was the bigger kid. Okay, never mind. Then I will be strong. So that's when I started taking part in like shot put, discus, and I didn't mind my size, but I just wanted to be strong because I knew I could have one up in that sense. So that was my childhood. Just going back again on that.
So you did shot put and all that.
Yeah,
Athletics.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so my mom was actually the one that told me that she used to do that. And so I suppose like the strength comes from my mom. My parents actually both have very strong arms. My mom did stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, mommy used to do that. Okay, then that's something I still want to try."